Hi everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. So in this video, we're going to discuss the Madeline Soto case a little bit more. First, I want to go over a timeline of her last, from that Sunday to that Monday, a timeline, for what went on, basically. And then there are some just key points I want to just mention to give you all something to discuss and to maybe think about. So let me go through the timeline. And I did get this from Court TV, but I did compare it to my notes and I found that it is accurate to the court documents, to what they say. So the timeline for that Sunday, it starts that Sunday, August 25th. This is the last day Madeline is seen alive. At 8:30 p.m., Madeline is dropped off at home after celebrating her birthday party that, neither Madeline's mom, Jen, nor Stephen Stearns attended. But that's when Madeline got dropped off from her birthday party. And at 8:45 p.m., that's when Stephen Stearns arrives at Madeline and Jen's home. And then at 10:30 p.m., Jen arrives home, gets off of work and comes home. And then at 11 p.m., Jen sends Stephen and Madeline to the guest bedroom to sleep together so Jen could get sleep, because she said she needs to get a good night's sleep. So in my opinion, and this was apparently not a rare occasion, and my opinion, when she did this, in Stephen Stearns' sick mind, it sounds like permission. You know what I mean? I'm not going to have a grown man sleep in a bed alone with my child. I'm just not going to do that. It's just never going to happen. It'll never happen. Yeah, so that happened, and that just, to me, that was just permissive. It was permissive. And then at 11:49 p.m., that's when Stephen logs on to Telegram. And they didn't mention this, but I want to mention this. He was on Telegram until after midnight because he logged out. There was not a time, but he logged out on February 26th, 2024. The next morning, 7 a.m. to 7:45 a.m., Stephen claims that's when he and Madeline woke up and got ready to leave for the day because they were going to go to McDonald's and get breakfast. He had this whole story set up. 7:30 to 7:45, Stephen claims they left the home. 7:50 a.m., Stearns was spotted driving away with Madeline slumped in the car, head to the left, mouth open. Now remember, in earlier interviews, he said she fell asleep in the car. And I believe that he said that he put in that little detail in case he was seen with her in the car, And 8 a.m. to 8:15 a.m., Jen says she awoke because she heard Stearns getting the dog leash. And then she reports hearing someone in the kitchen. And that is allegedly what she meant to say when she said that the last time she saw Madeline was getting ready for school that Monday morning, around 8 a.m. She was sort of like, no, I didn't mean to say that. The claim was she clarified it and said she woke to Stearns getting the dog leash and reporting that she heard someone in the kitchen. So she backed up on that she didn't see Madeline that morning. So that's sad. And that's the timeline I have. His car was seen, he was seen at the dumpster, throwing things in the dumpster. They later retrieved from that dumpster Madeline's backpack and her school computer, her school laptop. So they got that. And And then, of course, there's video footage of him on the top floor of the parking garage at the Holiday Inn Vacation Club, or Club Vacation, where he was seen getting out of the driver's side, opening the trunk, going around to the passenger side, taking something out of the car that looked like a slumped body and putting it in the trunk. Now, on Court TV, Gray Hughes was on there, and I know some of y'all don't like Gray Hughes, but I just want to point this out. He brought up a very interesting thing. He said, is it possible that maybe she was drugged or something and she was at that moment still alive? I don't think she was, but her unaliving would have had to take place fairly recently, because it, just from what the reports say, she wasn't in rigor. Now, your body can get past the stage of rigor and then be, movable again, but it's just not believed that that was the case. And I think that she would have already been passed away, because I don't see where he would have had the time, after putting her in the trunk and driving to St. Cloud, where he would have really had the time to unalive her, unless he did it when he put her body in the wooded area, which would have been very risky. But we can tell this guy wasn't really smart about whatever his plan was, So we know the night of 2/25, and these are little talking points I want to give y'all to discuss, maybe in the comments, or just to think about. So we know the night of 2/25, Jen told Stearns and Madeline to go sleep in the guest bedroom together. In my opinion, in his mind, that was giving him permission to do whatever he was going to do to her. And I've heard it before, but I haven't heard it very recently, that the last video of her being ABUSCD by him was recorded on February 26th. So it was date stamped February 26th. Also, we know there were roommates, and no one's talking a lot about the roommates. I'm wondering, what did they know? Did they suspect anything? And I'm sure they've been thoroughly interviewed and vetted. I'm positive. But I can say the same thing said about Mom. How can you live in that house and not know or suspect something? But I guess these types of predators are just that slick, I mean, they weren't involved in an intimate relationship with Stefan like Jen was. So maybe it's more on her to have known, but. And then he dated a girl for a few months while him and Jen were on a break. But he told that girl that he still went to Jen's house to sleep with Madeline to comfort her so they can get their snuggles. And he also said, the girl also said that he told her he woke up in the bed with Madeline with an erection and then had to turn over. And people like on Court TV were like, why would he say that? I think he was trying to get a reaction. He was trying to see how she would react to it. And apparently she didn't react very well to it, because at that point she decided she wasn't going to see him anymore. So, that would have probably been a good time to get in touch with Jen Soto and say, look, I am not trying to cause trouble, but I'm just going to tell you this so I can have it off my chest, and then it's your problem, and I would have had to tell the Jen Soto about that. Madeline's friend said to investigators that Mom was going to disown her and kick her out at 18. Could that have been a jealousy thing? Or was that just a teenager thing? Because I know that my mom went through phases where she just despised me, and I wouldn't even do anything wrong. She said, when you're 18, you're out of here. And then, of course, when I tried to leave home, it was like, no, you can't leave. I love you. So, I mean, now I'm going to a dark place. But, I mean, this whole thing is dark. But anyway, I just think that's kind of interesting. I don't think it's that unusual, teenagers, moms, but she just became a teenager. I mean, I still think, so she's a fresh 13-year-old, so we could say she was pretty much 12 years old. So, you know, what would make her mom react that way to her so young? And then the Telegram thing, I wanted to bring up the Telegram thing. What do y'all think of that? Because Telegram, Telegram has its reputation. So, oh, and I also wanted to correct something from a last video, an earlier video I did after they announced that they were going to seek the death penalty for Stephen Stearns. I said in the state of Florida, the death penalty is voted on by a jury of 12 and it has to be unanimous. That is no longer true. It has to be 8-4 in favor to get the death penalty. So the much better odds that the death penalty will happen for Stephen Stearns, because I'm quite sure that he will be found guilty. Now, I was quite sure Casey Anthony was going to be found guilty of Kaylee Anthony's unaliving, but she wasn't. But I think this is a totally different case. I think the evidence they have against Stephen is far more damning than the evidence they had against Casey Anthony, because just remember, the law is reason, free from passion. And when you look at the actual evidence they had on Casey Anthony, if you look at it without getting your emotions involved, they really didn't have anything. It was all circumstantial and very circumstantial. But what they have on Stephen is very damning. And I do believe that they're going to find him guilty, especially if he's tried for the SA and CP first, which I'm sure he will be. I think that they'll be able to admit that because that has to be admitted to show his intent. So, yeah, that's where we're at with the Madeline Soto case for right now. There's over 900 documents right now, and there's a scary noise outside. Oh, it's the sprinkler turning on. But yeah, there's over 900 pages of documents for the case, and I'm sure there'll be more. The investigation is still ongoing. There are experts in the field who I've watched on Court TV, and I've talked to a couple, like my friend that's a DA, an ADA. There's still a chance mom might get arrested. They don't really need her testimony to go after Stephen. They don't need her testimony. I mean, they'll probably like it, but they don't need it. That was said by Vinnie Politan. And there's still a chance that they might be able to arrest her for something. I do not think she's going to be arrested for anything, but there are, there are people that think she will be, like my friend that's the ADA. She thinks that it's very possible that they'll arrest her. They're just working up a case and trying to find the best charges to levy against her. But I don't know. I just don't see it happening. It might, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. This is such a terrible case, and I know that it touches everyone's heart. It's so brutal and vicious, and all of these cases involving children are just brutal and vicious, and they are hard to talk about, but I think it's important to keep these kids' names alive. And I hate that Madeline had to lose her life, but now a horrible criminal is gonna probably get the death penalty. But he could have just kept his hands to himself and not mess with her. But if it wasn't Madeline, it would have been some other little girl we're talking about today. So anyway, that's it. That's all I really have to say about Madeline tonight. There's going to be plenty more. I'm actually working on a video on Sebastian Rogers right now. He is still missing. They have found a body near Hendersonville, but there's no other information than the fact that they found a body. So hopefully it's not Sebastian. I'm starting to lose hope for Sebastian Rogers, but you know, hopefully they find him and he's found alive. Anyway, that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to everyone later. Bye.